Hi, my name's Darcy. I'm 14 years old and Australian. And over the last 10 months I've spent at TCAS, I've worked on so many amazing projects. But the one that I enjoyed working on the most was the review stage of my focus. And I did the review stage of my focus on triggered drug release using liposomes for cancer treatment. And the reason I chose to focus on this area is because one of my teachers had recently died of cancer, and it was really sad, and I wanted to find out about how nanotechnology could help to create a world where this doesn't happen anymore. And what I found after researching for quite a while made me really hopeful that a cancer-free world is achievable, especially with nanotechnology. So let me explain trigger drug release. So firstly, liposomes are a type of biocompatible nanoparticle made out of lipids, which is a naturally occurring compound which we can find in our bodies and in the food we eat. And the thing about liposomes which makes them so useful in drug delivery is that they have an aqueous core but then a fatty outer layer. And this is so useful because it means that you can transport both liquid and hydrophobic drugs, which is super useful. The other really useful thing about liposomes is that they are susceptible to something called the EPR effect, the enhanced permeability and retination effect, which means that they will naturally accumulate at tumour sites because tumours are really easy to get into but really hard to get out of. So that makes them really useful for cancer treatment. But the problem with these liposomes is, how do we make sure that they don't release drugs when around healthy cells, because that'll cause issues, but make sure that they release all of their contents when inside tumours. This is where triggered drug release comes in. So triggered drug release is this idea that you can use stimulus to cause a liposome to break open and then release its drug. And there are two types of stimulus. The first type of stimulus is endogenous. Endogenous stimulus comes from within the body, and more specifically, it comes from changes between healthy cells and tumour cells. Tumours tend to be more acidic and have hypoxic regions, etc., etc. So you can create liposomes which react to the conditions which are in tumours, which are not in healthy cells. The other type of stimulus is exogenous stimulus, which is stimulus that comes from outside the body, such as heat, magnetism, ultrasound, and you can use these stimulus to crack open liposomes as well. I did a lot of research on this, and the type of stimulus that really stuck out to me as having heaps of potential was magnetically triggered liposomes, for a few reasons. Firstly, the biggest concern that you have with triggered drug release is making sure that the stimulus you're using is firstly effective, and secondly doesn't harm the body. Now, heat, which is proven to be a really good option, hypothermia, the problem is that it hurts the cells around the area that you're targeting with the stimulus. However, if you use magnetism, you can trigger hypothermia in a very localized area, and you can also get much deeper into the body because magnetic fields don't interact with the body in the same way that other stimulus do. So that means that you can trigger hypothermia and drug release at the same time deep within the cells. And the way that you do this is that you add iron oxide nanoparticles to liposomes, and then you can expose them to an alternating current magnetic field, which will cause heat and cause drug release. So this just blew my mind. It has so much potential, this idea, I think, and I would love so much to work on a project involving magnetically triggered liposomes, or liposomes in general in the future. And if I hadn't done this project, I wouldn't have been able to come up with my moonshot idea. I gained so much knowledge from doing this, and I would love to work with liposomes in the future. Thank you so much for watching.